a country enveloped in mystery where the cost of living is surprisingly low, yet it remains out of reach for most travelers, a place where the roads are nearly devoid of vehicles, but where some of the most graceful traffic policemen expertly manage the flow of traffic with elegance and precision. This nation is steeped in ancient traditions, reflected in its architecture, attire, and daily practices. Yet, it is also a land ruled by some of the strictest and most unusual laws on the planet. All of this can only be found in North Korea. Join us on a journey to explore life in the most enigmatic and reclusive country in the world in today's travel documentary. Situated on the Korean peninsula right next to its affluent neighbor, South Korea, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea, is one of the most mysterious nations on earth. Spanning an area of approximately 46,500 square miles, similar in size to the state of Mississippi in the US, North Korea is bordered by China, Russia, and South Korea, boasting a coastline of over 1,550 miles along the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan. Interestingly, despite being surrounded by water, the local populace has rarely ventured into the sea, let alone traveled abroad. While the world is more interconnected than ever, the citizens of North Korea live in a bubble. In North Korea, where concepts like Google, iPhones, or Starbucks are completely alien, the weather conditions are extremely severe, with chilling winters where temperatures can plummet to below minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, and summers that are hot and humid, akin to Florida. During winter, snow covers a large part of the land, creating picturesque landscapes, but also posing significant challenges for transportation and farming. Many regions continue to experience frequent power cuts, making life a stark contrast to the vibrant, bustling cities like New York or London. North Korea has a population of around 26 million people, with the majority living in the capital city, Pyongyang, which is one of the most carefully planned cities in the world. To reside here, one cannot simply purchase a house or rent an apartment. Only citizens selected by the state, based on their loyalty, achievements, and family background, are permitted to settle in the capital. This makes Pyongyang one of the most exclusive cities in terms of its residents. The populace here is entirely ethnically Korean and speaks Korean as their first language. Interestingly, their language has evolved differently from that of South Korea over the last 70 years, resulting in some vocabulary and pronunciations that may seem unfamiliar even to contemporary South Koreans. North Koreans hold the belief that the entire Korean peninsula is a unified nation. If you hold a world map in any country, you'll find that both North and South Korea are shown as two separate nations: the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, and the Republic of Korea, South Korea. However, the North Koreans firmly believe in a single, unified Korea. In schools across the country, maps depict a united nation with Pyongyang as its capital. While people on both sides have long hoped for unification, the practicalities of achieving this are incredibly difficult. North Korea is largely represented through media portrayals, but only by visiting can one gain a true understanding of a place where the past, present, and future intertwine in a uniquely remarkable manner. Time in North Korea has its own special character that one must grasp. If you set foot in the country, you won't see the year 2025 displayed anywhere. Instead, all calendars, signboards, and official documents follow the Hooch calendar, a distinctive system exclusively used in North Korea. Very soon, the nation will enter the year 114, as it counts years not according to the Gregorian calendar like the rest of the world, but from the birth year of Kim Il sung, the founding leader of the nation. For those used to the globally accepted Gregorian calendar, the North Korean calendar feels like existing in a completely different timeline. Most travelers arriving in North Korea by flight will land at Sunan International Airport and proceed directly to the capital, Pyongyang. As soon as you arrive, you will experience an atmosphere that is completely different from any city in the world. Pyongyang possesses a beauty characterized by order and discipline, with tall buildings closely lined up. giving it a modern appearance that is far less frantic than that of New York or Tokyo. Hundreds of apartment buildings, ranging from 25 to 35 stories, rise throughout the city. However, it is noteworthy that many of these buildings do not have elevators, which forces residents to climb hundreds of stairs every day. If you live on the 30th floor and have to walk down every morning to catch the bus, your health will either improve significantly or you will feel completely worn out. The people of Pyongyang seldom use personal vehicles. Instead, they largely rely on the subway, double-decker buses, trams, and taxis during the peak hours of 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5:00 p.m. to 9 p.m. Public transport is always crowded. Remarkably, even with hundreds of people waiting, no one pushes or shoves. You won't encounter chaotic traffic jams like those in Los Angeles or London. The streets of Pyongyang are clean, clear, and orderly. The only thing you won't find on the streets of Pyongyang is motorcycles. In other Asian cities like Bangkok or Hanoi, motorcycles are everywhere, but here you won't spot a single one. Beneath Pyongyang lies the world's deepest subway station, located 110 meters underground. Its sturdy construction and steel-reinforced doors enable it to function as a bomb shelter as well. Passengers take approximately 3.5 minutes to travel from ground level to the station using the escalator. Since it is situated deep underground, this station maintains a consistent temperature of 18 degrees Celsius throughout the year, irrespective of the weather, making it a preferred spot for many locals. While you won't find bustling street food stalls on the roads of North Korea, there are tidy little stands where school children dressed in red scarves gather to purchase ice cream and sweets. Despite the lack of widespread internet access, people can often be seen intently looking at their phone screens, a sight familiar in any city across the globe. However, here they only browse pre-approved domestic websites. On the streets, one can easily spot North Korean women flaunting various modern hairstyles, adorned in elegant, fashionable outfits that display a relative diversity in color and style, each sporting badges with the images of the two leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, pinned to their chests, complemented by high heels and minimal makeup. Curiously, if you happen to visit North Korea, you'll observe that all citizens wear badges featuring their leaders. However, it is advisable not to be tempted to wear one yourself, as foreign tourists could face imprisonment for such an act. North Korean women steer clear of Western trends, showcasing a graceful beauty marked by smooth white skin, bright eyes, shiny black hair, and gentle smiles. Whether you take a leisurely walk along Kim Il-sung Avenue, cross vast squares, or go down into the world's deepest metro station, you will notice groups of women, arm in arm, chatting animatedly or covering their mouths with laughter. Even when they are hurrying to work or moving through the streets, women maintain an upright posture, walking confidently and with a sense of pride. They rarely seem rushed, unlike in bustling cities such as New York or Paris. Instead, they exhibit a calm, deliberate demeanor that still radiates confidence. The most eye-catching feature on the streets of North Korea is the beautiful traffic police. In many countries, traffic officers are chosen based on their health, skill in handling situations, and knowledge of the law. However, in North Korea, to become a female traffic officer, one must meet 3 criteria: height, vision, and beauty. In Pyongyang, traffic police not only control vehicle movement but also serve as symbols of the city. They are typically young, tall, and smart-looking women, dressed in neat blue and white uniforms, wearing their caps stylishly, and standing straight at major intersections, directing traffic with decisive, powerful, yet graceful movements. Even though the streets of Pyongyang have very few vehicles, these female officers are a constant presence, an essential feature of the city. And if you look closely, you will also notice another remarkable sight on the streets of North Korea: the presence of young men in military uniforms, a familiar and integral presence in this country. It's not just by chance that these situations are so prevalent, as nearly every young man above the age of 18 is mandated to serve in the military for a period of up to 10 years, while women are required to serve until at least 23. Military service here is not merely a responsibility, it's woven into the fabric of everyday life, fostering a society that is extremely disciplined and militarized. In contrast to the US, where military service is entirely voluntary, or South Korea, where the duration is between 18 to 21 months, this duration in North Korea is quite remarkable. With more than 1 million regular soldiers and 6 million paramilitary personnel, the North Korean military stands among the largest forces in the world, with approximately 1 in 4 individuals connected to the military in some capacity. You may wonder why the streets of North Korea seem so devoid of cars. In a nation boasting a population of over 25 million, one would expect to see millions of vehicles plying the roads daily. However, in reality, there are only around 30,000 active cars across North Korea, making it one of the countries with the lowest rates of car ownership globally. This is primarily because only government officials and military personnel are permitted to own private cars. Most citizens rely on modes of transport like subways, buses, or bicycles to get about. While navigating the streets of Pyongyang, you might still encounter luxury brands such as Mercedes-Benz or Toyota, despite the absence of any official dealerships for these brands in North Korea. Officials in the country are reportedly partial to Mercedes-Benz, and interestingly, many Volvo 154S models from the 1970s are still being driven around because North Korea imported them but never made payment. In truth, North Korea is not entirely reliant on imported vehicles. The country boasts its own automotive industry, which has its roots going back to the 1950s. The Sungri Motor Plant initially focused on manufacturing military vehicles during times of war, later shifted to assembling models inspired by Volkswagen, Mercedes, and various other foreign brands. However, due to its isolated economy, North Korean cars are relatively unknown outside the country. The leaders of North Korea enjoy the luxury of being able to possess any vehicle they fancy. Depending on their rank, they can choose anything from an Audi R8 and Rolls-Royce to a Range Rover, some of the world's most opulent vehicles. Kim Jong-un, in particular, is reported to have a unique collection of luxury cars. Although importing vehicles into North Korea is not straightforward, the country operates under a centrally planned economic system, a rare model that continues to exist globally today. The state exerts control over everything from production and distribution to consumption. This implies that while an American can conveniently order from Amazon and receive their package the next day, in North Korea, most goods are allotted as per government directives, and owning an imported item like a can of Coca-Cola can be a luxury for the ordinary citizens. In North Korea, 3 vital services, housing, healthcare, and education, are provided at no cost. Furthermore, citizens do not pay for utilities. Most of their earnings go towards food and clothing. Consequently, North Korea stands out as one of the few economies globally that does not impose taxes. How does this influence the cost of living in the country? Living in North Korea offers a distinct economic scenario, which is quite different from Western countries. The average monthly cost of living is around 1,597, which is about 32% lower than in the United States. Housing is considerably more affordable, with rent being on average 79.9% less than in the US. A furnished studio of 45 square meters in a typical area costs approximately 900,000 North Korean won per month. But converting this to US dollars accurately is challenging due to limited exchange rate data. Utility bills for heating, electricity, and gas for 2 individuals living in an 85 square meter apartment total around 120,000 won monthly. Food prices are, on average, 20.4% lower than in the US, though this specific pricing for individual grocery items is hard to come by. Public transport is the primary means of travel, with fares significantly less than in Western nations, but precise figures are not easily accessible. Other costs, such as gym memberships and dental care, are difficult to gauge due to the country's controlled economy and scarce commercial services. While the cost of living in North Korea is lower than that in the United States, the limited access to financial data and the closed nature of the economy make it difficult to make precise comparisons. With these factors in mind, would you choose to settle here? If yes, select 1. If no, select 0. Kindly share your answer in the comments. In Pyongyang, you can also explore magnificent structures of global importance. One of the most remarkable sites is the Rangrado May Day Stadium, which is the largest stadium in the world, accommodating up to 150,000 people. Established in 1989, this stadium not only hosts football matches, but also the mass games, a stunning spectacle in North Korea. With tens of thousands of participants, it is one of the most impressive synchronized performances in the world, showcasing the unity and strength of the nation. Pyongyang is also home to the Ryugyong Hotel, one of the most unique and iconic buildings globally. Shaped like a pyramid and standing 105 stories high, this hotel held the title of the tallest hotel in the world for 20 years. Designed to feature over 7,600 rooms and a revolving restaurant at the top, the Ryugyong Hotel is an ambitious project that reflects North Korea's vision. Although it is not yet fully operational, this building remains one of the most distinctive architectural highlights in Pyongyang. Additionally, along the banks of the Taedong River, Kim Il sung Square stands as the largest square in North Korea and the 16th largest in the world, spanning an area of 75,000 square meters and capable of accommodating 100,000 people. This is the venue for grand parades and serves as a hub for many significant national events. Opposite the square is the Juche Tower, one of the most prominent symbols of Pyongyang, embodying the country's political philosophy. As night descends, Pyongyang takes on a mysterious and unique beauty. On the expansive streets, the flickering street lights cast intriguing patches of light and shadow. People continue to go about their routines. Life carries on, but there is an exceptional atmosphere of calm and tranquility that is rarely found in other world capitals. The towering buildings limit electricity usage, revealing only a scatter of illuminated windows, creating a scene that feels both nostalgic and enigmatic. Most festivals in North Korea occur in Pyongyang, showcasing grand performances that are rich in national identity. One of the most unique celebrations worldwide is the Day of the Sun, observed on April 15th, which commemorates the birthday of the late Chairman Kim Il sung. This day is not merely a holiday but a monumental national event featuring military parades, stunning fireworks, and the largest synchronized performances globally, with tens of thousands of participants performing together in the stadium. Moreover, the Arirang Mass Games has been registered in the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest collective performance globally, featuring over 100,000 dancers, athletes, and performers. What stands out particularly is the living mural created by tens of thousands of students, which turns the entire stadium into a massive picture that evolves with every movement. Besides national events, North Korea also celebrates traditional cultural festivals such as the Lunar New Year and the Lantern Festival, during which people release hundreds of brightly lit lanterns into the sky, crafting a rare and beautiful sight. North Korean cuisine is bound to leave a lasting impression. A unique characteristic of North Korean food is its ideal harmony of spicy, salty, sour, and sweet flavors, resulting in unforgettable culinary experiences. If you've heard of kimchi, the globally renowned fermented pickle dish, you may be amazed to know that North Korea has hundreds of distinct varieties of kimchi, with each region boasting its own unique recipe. One of the must-try dishes for visitors is naengmyeon, the cold noodles from Pyongyang. This traditional delicacy dates back to the Joseon dynasty and is typically served in a bowl of chilled beef bone broth, accompanied by cucumbers, boiled eggs, and sliced beef. When compared to Japanese ramen or Italian spaghetti, North Korean cold noodles provide a completely different experience with their light taste and chewy buckwheat noodles. It is important to note that Taedonggang beer is a source of immense pride for North Koreans, being considered one of the finest beers in East Asia. This beer is brewed in a facility making use of technology brought in from the UK, offering a rich flavor that competes with premium craft beers from Europe. If you get the opportunity, you should enjoy a chilled beer with bulgogi, which is one of the most delicious and enticing dishes in North Korea. To truly appreciate your exploration of North Korea, you need to be aware of the following regulations. Tourists are not permitted to use the local currency. While several countries encourage visitors to use their local currency for expenses, North Korea is not one of them. Although Korean won is the local currency, foreign tourists must use one of three accepted currencies: euros, USD, or Chinese yuan, with a preference for euros. It is also crucial to remember that taking any Korean won out of North Korea is illegal. You may find that locals are quite reserved, silent, or may even avoid you. This is not due to unfriendliness, but rather because interactions with foreigners are a very sensitive matter in North Korea. While there is no law stating that citizens will be penalized for communicating with tourists, the government's strict control makes most individuals hesitant to engage. If you try to initiate a conversation or take photographs of someone, they may quickly walk away to steer clear of trouble. Additionally, tourists cannot freely take photos of anything they wish. The tour guide, who will always accompany you, has the right to stop you from taking photographs if the content is considered sensitive. Old bridges, incomplete buildings, or even situations like people queuing outside a shop may be off limits for photography. Especially anything connected to the military is strictly prohibited for filming. When taking photos of the statues of the two leaders Kim Il sung and Kim Jong il, tourists must capture the full figure without cropping and should avoid taking photographs from behind as a mark of respect. It is estimated that North Korea has about 34,000 statues of the late leader Kim Il sung, translating to roughly one statue every 3.5 kilometers. Thus, if you find yourself visiting North Korea, keep in mind that your camera may not be as welcome as it would be at other tourist hotspots around the globe. After hearing all this, you might be considering a trip to North Korea, or even a longer stay to explore its mysteries. Don't forget to prepare your documents and visa application for traveling to North Korea. Visitors can only enter North Korea from Russia or China. These are the countries where you can obtain a North Korean visa. Some cities in China do have flights to North Korea, but the fastest route remains from Beijing. In Russia, the only flights available are from Vladivostok, which is quite an isolated city. If you wish to take in some scenic views along the journey, you might consider taking a train from Beijing. Navigating the visa process for North Korea demands meticulous planning, particularly for travelers from the US and Europe. For American citizens, traveling to North Korea is strictly restricted. Since 2017, the US Department of State has imposed a travel ban, making US passports invalid for travel to, within, or through North Korea without special permission, which is seldom granted. In contrast, European citizens face a somewhat more straightforward but still regulated process. Independent travel is generally not allowed. Visitors must participate in organized tours through authorized travel agencies. The visa application usually involves filling out a form, providing a passport-sized photograph, and submitting a copy of the passport. Processing times may differ, but it is recommended to submit applications at least 1.5 months ahead of the intended departure. It is essential to understand that North Korea does not have specific visa categories for those looking to retire or live there long term. The country's visa policies mainly cater to short-term tourism or official business, characterized by stringent regulations and oversight. Potential visitors should conduct thorough research and comply with all requirements, remembering that policies can change and diplomatic relations may affect travel permissions. We have explored the prospect of living in North Korea together. We look forward to having you with us on our next journeys to discover the world. See you again.